EFL Cup Semi-Final Picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code PLGP to get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Sunday, January the 5th. We are here to look around the Premier League weekend, which finished a few hours ago. And we've got some cup action this week, primarily the EFL Cup Semi-Finals, Tuesday and Wednesday first legs. And there's some FA Cup action on Thursday night. For some reason, they continue to mangle the entire competition. And it starts on Thursday this week. So a little sniff around some of the games on Thursday night as well. Joining me from somewhere in Nottinghamshire is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Barry, what's happening?
Evening. Not a lot. I've never left this house today, to be honest. It's absolutely minging out there, isn't it? Rain's lashing down now. Freezing cold. We've got a bit of snow. I think you got more snow than us. We just got miserable, rainy, horrible, sleety weather. All football was cancelled today in terms of the kids' footy. All football was cancelled yesterday. So, yeah, a bit of a miserable weekend, really. You had to travel back from Scotland as well, didn't you? Did that go okay?
Well, as it happens, it was all right. I think the weather wasn't as bad up there. With a little bit of snow blowing around, but it just made the place quite pretty. I was sort of quite near Edinburgh. I've got a little game, Barry, for you to play in a minute, actually, on the back of my little trip. But yeah, it was fine. I threw out a YouTube short yesterday on the border as I crossed the border up at the Carter Bar, up in the snowy, in the Cheviots up there. But yeah, I had a good time, worked. Decent weekend of action all around, really. So, right, I'll tell you where we'll start. Well, we'll say hello to everyone first, Baz. Going from back to front, Callum was first in. Callum went to Bradford yesterday, that's right. You were with Bradford playing? I can't remember. Give us a rundown of that, Callum. Ian's here, Michael. James Mafia, happy that City got a win. Jason's not cold at all, 34 degrees for Jason in Australia this afternoon. Jason, how you doing? There's a couple of people I wanted to mention from YouTube yesterday. Taylor got in touch with saying some nice things and asking for a few picks, so welcome along, Taylor. So, right, Baz, I was quite near Edinburgh. It was a corporate works do, so they had like the conference thing all day and then the piss up on the night time. And I was there. I had the 4 casino tables at the piss up. And it was for a company called Snap On. Do you know, like, mechanics, tools and that? I'm not very good at describing manly things. But it struck me as it was like a bit of a cult. It might be like a bit of a multi-level marketing thing, like a kind of a Herbalife type thing, which I don't mind, if it's for some people, it's not for others. But they had the awards, which are all a little bit mental. Like they had the golden wrench. They gave the golden wrench away to someone who'd sold the most amount of things. But where the game comes in, Barry, is I acquired / stole one of the goodie bags that they were giving out. So I'm going to take you through what was in the goodie bag. So what I've got here, first off, Barry, this is from Flannels, as you can see. So quite good. Yeah. Nice. Box. Lovely candle.
Flannels used to be a good brand, and then Mike Ashley took it over, didn't he?
Yeah, ruined it, hasn't he? So, comes in this nice bag. So what else we've got in here, Baz, is this weird cocktail glass. Don't know what you meant to do with that. Right?
Drink a cocktail out of it, maybe?
What?
You could try drinking a cocktail out of it.
Some Walker's shortbread fingers, Barry. Nice, solid choice. Highland Chewy Toffee. And specifically, I don't know where Coisty is tonight. We need Coisty on because this is very Scottish heavy. It's a Ua Willie's one. Did you used to get the Ua Willie comics or annual?
Oh, yeah. Coisty's in the chat.
Hey, look at that.
Can you hear
I
me?
used to get the Ua Willie or the Bruins annual because they used to alternate every year for Christmas.
Can you not hear me?
What?
I'm just you're asking where Coisty is. I'm telling you he's in the chat.
Oh, he's there. Oh, no, sorry. I had the comments at the top. All right, Coisty, you're back. We're all right into this then. Ua Willie or the Bruins. Coisty knows. The Americans and Canadians have got, go and make a cup of tea. This is not for you. I got the card, which says, obviously it's got nothing to do with me because I stole it. Thank you for all of your support in 2024 from Dale and the team. So, cheers, Dale. I have no idea who Dale is. We'll put that up. My question to you is, Barry, I've got one more thing in the bag. It's a drink. I want to know from you, what's the drink? Coisty might know. So, Scottish theme, Barry. It's a drink.
It's going to be the... oh, man. I know what it is. It's like an orange... Is it Buckfast or something?
It's not. Buckfast. No, it's not. That's not a bad guess, though. I mean, what's the other Scottish drink? All right, so Coisty's onto it. It's Iron Brew, but it's not just any old Iron Brew, Baz. It's an Iron Brew vodka martini. What do you think of that?
Lovely, nice.
I can't decide whether that's going to be...
Drink that out of your cocktail glass.
I could drink that. We got me drinking now. All right, we'll give it a go. Iron Brew vodka martini. If any of our transatlantic listeners, do they have Iron Brew in America or Canada? They can't do, can they?
You wouldn't think so, like.
Oh, shit. That's nearly gone everywhere. Right, so we'll get a bit of that good. Oh, my God. Oh, it's an unholy colour. That wouldn't fill your hollow tooth, by the way, that thing. Oh, Barry. Thoughts? It might be a grower. So anyway, there you go. Iron Brew vodka martini. Coisty says you can get it in America in some speciality shops. Iron Brew's a great drink. Like, it's a good hangover drink. It's a really, really good hangover drink. So that was that. Picks wise, profit, Baz. We've only had 9 games because we've still got Forest Wolves or Wolves Forest tomorrow night. But I've hit 6 out of 9. Some nice picks in there. The Newcastle, both teams to score with a team total was a nice little parlay. The money lines, Villa with over 2.5, Bournemouth won. Brentford were just an insane price at 8-5 plus 160. And my 2 double chances, which both drew, which is the perfect outcome because I didn't miss out on one of the big price dogs. Crystal Palace and Ipswich, both on the double chance. Bad picks came at Manchester City, West Ham. I took another under again. That's about, how many is that now? 6 in a row over a span of 3 weeks. Fancy priced unders, not a winner. So I need to stop that. And then the one game today where I don't think anyone could have won particularly was Liverpool v Manchester United. But we'll cross that when we get to eye catches in a little bit. So that was me, Baz. Yeah, quite happy. Profit already with a game to go. How did you get on?
Yeah, very similar. Sort of down the middle, but decent price. I think all plus price winners. The highlights for me was fading both Arsenal and Chelsea. Again, like you, double chance winners. So 2 double chance picks. Brighton against Arsenal and Palace against Chelsea both come good. Also on the Brentford game at 8-5. And how the unders in the Everton game was at even money, I will never know because that was an absolute steal as well. My score I hit, took Gakpo in the game today. And the treble was goal, score, assist. Got off to an absolute flyer, wasn't it? Anthony Gordon got his goal. Cole Palmer, sorry, not Carlton Palmer. Cole Palmer got his. And it was all riding on today. We needed Diaz to get a goal or an assist. And he was hooked after an hour, wasn't he? And he wasn't going to be.
Yeah.
They were about to bring Gakpo off. Gakpo scores. And then they change their mind and bring Diaz off and leave Gakpo on for Nunes, which cost me in the end. But yeah, close one. Something I might try again because we've got a bit of a run out of that. I'm trying to think. I can't even remember what my ladder was last week now. Can you remember? I haven't even considered.
Don't ask me, Baz. Pay any attention.
It was Salah shots. I haven't even looked at that. Shows how much attention I paid to it today. No idea how many shots Salah ended up with, but we'll check that in a bit.
He got a few off. I wouldn't loads. 3, 4, 5 maybe. I don't know.
He gets a penalty every game, doesn't he? So
yeah. Have you seen the Southampton fan getting the shirt off Adam Armstrong? That was one of the stories of the weekend. Absolutely brilliant. Go and find it on the socials if you haven't. In the hospitality area at Southampton, they obviously have a little. The players will come in and say a few words sometimes after the game, etc. And there was a competition before the game to predict the score. So a lady in there predicted Southampton would lose 5-0. And sure enough, she was correct. So then after the game, Adam Armstrong has to come in, having just lost 5-0 as a professional footballer. He has to come into the hospitality area, meet a few people, press the flesh, and then present the winner of the competition. So he presents this woman with his shirt, having just lost 5-0, because she's predicted that he would lose 5-0. And it's absolutely outstanding. So I enjoyed that a lot. And finally, we need to say congratulations to Lee and Burnley for getting one over on their local rivals. We don't have any Blackburn fans come in the chat, so we were all Burnley. So congratulations. I hope you weren't one of the with all the 15-year-old kids who were trying to scrap each other during the game. But yeah, good win for Lee. I saw him puffing his chest out on Twitter yesterday, so well done. NFL playoffs is on. I'm watching it right now. My treble landed early. I've got a little 5-timer going on these games, but all your picks are covered here on the Sports Gambling Podcast, NFL picks and props on all of the shows. And DraftKings, we've got DraftKings as a new sponsor here. If we're talking about playoffs, you can get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to win the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them. At DraftKings, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Try betting on something simple, like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. So only on DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
You all get that? In other words, stop doing your tits.
I've got to say, right, that was definitely preferable to listening to you read that lot out, that's for sure.
Oh, no, I don't think so, Baz. I really, really don't think so. Yeah, I think we have to go to Liverpool Man United for the eye catch yesterday. Manchester United was surprisingly competent, as much as we took the piss out of them in the week. The three midfielders made a massive difference, didn't they? They had to. We said we had to play Manu, and obviously he couldn't play Ugarte and Fernandes the other day. And they made a difference. Fernandes is their best player. Ugarte looked okay, and Manu was just busy. So they competed. Looked like they might nick it, then looked like they might lose it, then looked like they might win it at the end with Maguire. But yeah, so Liverpool dropped a couple of points. However, Arsenal did the same. We're going to get onto Arsenal because we're going to handicap this Arsenal-Newcastle match next. So we'll not dwell on Arsenal too much right now. But it was a good game, Baz. The last 15 minutes was absolute mayhem. It was old school. I enjoyed it.
It was a good game. You're right. And we've got to give Man United a bit of credit because we've given them enough stick for a few weeks. They did play well and deserved at least a point from the game. Don't think Liverpool were at their best. But yeah, an entertaining game. And, we were We were both cheering on a Liverpool thwacking, weren't we, initially? But it was one of them. I was a little bit torn by the end. I would have equally found it
Yeah, I
quite
didn't
funny
mind it either
if
way
Man
by
United
the
had
end. I
gone
was
and
just
upset them
enjoying it.
in the last minute. And it was an enjoyable game where I didn't really care. It's a shame they couldn't both lose. You said we can't dwell on Arsenal too much, but I would like to. Because I found out I learned two interesting things about Arsenal this weekend, which I think you'll be interested in. They picked up their first major title in a few years. Arteta pointed out on Friday. Apparently, they were the best team of 2024. They got more points in the calendar year than anybody else. I didn't know that was a title. I didn't know it mattered, but apparently it does. So Arteta wanted everyone to know about that. So I'm assuming they're getting the open top bus fired up, ready for that this week. And the other one, you'll find this astonishing, Malcolm. I've done some research. And did you know, I mean, most of my research was just trolling social media, but it turns out that Arsenal are the only team in the Premier League who have only ever lost points by virtue of corruption, conspiracy, cheating. Like that's it. They've never, I failed to find a single occasion where their fans or players have accepted a defeat. Turns out it's never happened. They've never lost fairly or even drawn fairly. So that was astonishing. They were a bit harsh with the penalty, to be fair. I thought the penalty was harsh. But just the outrage, the Arsenal fans on Twitter, like, last season...
I was going to bring this up. All day long, I thought I'll bring this up. But then I thought I don't want to bring it up because it's not real. But this weekend on the socials for this sort of thing you're talking about, Baz, is the worst I've ever seen it.
It was astonishing.
But it's not just Arsenal fans. Obviously, we haven't got to Tottenham yet. The Tottenham supporters and the manager have gone full potato. They've gone absolutely 100% full potato. They've completely lost their fucking marbles, a lot of them. The one Tottenham fan today, from the first tweet whinging about the referee, 4 tweets later, he then said, following the rules, nearly done us in COVID, nearly killed everyone. So you can't just follow the... So it went from following the handball rules to following the COVID rules in tweet number 4. By tweet number 8, he was like, yeah, good luck following the rules. That's what the Nazis were doing in the death camps. So we went from handball to fucking Auschwitz in 7 tweets. In this absolutely fucking bark mad. But I saw Chelsea fans moaning, penalty today, Man United, De Ligt with the penalty. That brought everyone back. And all sorts. I even saw the Rangers fans moaning about it. Georgie Hadji's kid had one today against Hibernian. So the more I looked at it, the more I thought, just fucking get away from it. Because I hadn't looked at it, I wouldn't have known. But this weekend seemed extra unbearable, Baz, for some reason.
I mean, North London was the worst of it. Arsenal and Spurs completely lost their heads. I mean, Ange Postecoglou, we've got to mention Spurs. Ange Postecoglou said he was the angriest he's ever been. And I think he's quite an angry man anyway. I mean, he said they would have won if it was a level playing field. All things being equal, they would have won that game. You sometimes hear that.
That's all he said. He said that repeatedly, didn't he?
No, he just said anybody who would listen. You sometimes hear that when a team's drawn a game, but they lost because they only scored 1 goal and they weren't denied any goal-scoring opportunities at any point. I don't know where he gets it from. I mean, what wasn't level? Because the decision to allow the goal was applied perfectly.
Yeah, correct.
No matter how many people in the media might say, I know the rules say this, but that shouldn't be a goal. You can't say that. You can't say, I know the rule says it's a goal, but it shouldn't be a goal. That's not how the game works. That was correct. If it was a level playing field, we might have got something for the GBH in the box on Gordon. We might have got something for Solanke sticking his knee in Dubravka's head. If all things were equal, Spurs probably wouldn't have got 13 minutes of injury time to try and get an equaliser. Like, they got as much out of that referee than we did. It was absolutely bonkers. I don't know. I don't know who he's trying to kid by suggesting his team were outstanding. They played well second half, but we got to allow them to do that. It was very similar to the Man United game. We did what we needed in the first half, and then we contained them. We were hanging on a bit, but Spurs played better than I expected, considering the amount of injuries they've got. The stuff afterwards was just fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. It was a real eye-opener. Because I like Ange. I've gone on record here saying I quite like him. But the cracks are showing a little bit. That was really, really baffling. But I just saw a lot of it, Baz. It was absolutely horrible. Any other eye catchers, Baz? Say we're going to get to Arsenal. I mean, Southampton. This weekend, really, I didn't learn anything about any other teams. I actually made these notes before Liverpool, Man United. So Man United are the one team I learned a little bit more about, which was like maybe they will be competitive with those three in midfield. But I didn't learn anything more about Southampton, Everton, Tottenham. We've just talked about. I didn't learn anything more about Brentford or Leicester or Palace and Chelsea because they do, or Fulham and Ipswich today because they do. I didn't learn much at all. It seemed pretty standard. And I know we've said that when that comes off the back of a winning week. So when I've gone 6-3, I feel like I know what 12 teams are going to do because I was right. So I wasn't surprised by anything, Baz, but not really an awful lot of drama or anything like that this weekend. But I mean, like Southampton and Everton were the two for me because what the fuck are they doing? Like, honestly.
I mean, did you see Dyche's comments afterwards about how their recent run, it looks terrible because there's a lot of draws in there. But if a few of them were wins, that run wouldn't have looked as bad. That's what he said. He said, if what you
have to do to win, though, Baz?
Score a goal.
You've got to kick it in the goal sometimes.
I've sort of got looking at the league this week and see how close they are back to it. I felt like Everton had almost pulled themselves away. I don't know if that's because they had a couple of positive results where they drew against Arsenal and City and teams like that. But they're right in the shit. Like they are absolutely right in it. I seen an Everton fan on Twitter the day talking about if the opportunity arose, would you sign Brian Mbeumo for Everton? Why is he going to go to Everton? Absolutely bonkers.
Absolutely bonkers. I'm on my 7th glass of Iron Brew vodka martini here, Baz, because the glass is so small. But I'm enjoying it. What was I going to say then? Yeah, just dog shit. I don't know what they're trying. In Ipswich today, I mean, they're minutes away from getting another win, and they look like they can win football matches. They look really fragile as well. So I think for every win, they're going to get a 5-0 humping because they do look really fragile, but that's fine. It can go one or two ways where Southampton and Everton can only go one way. Leicester look like they can only go one way. But Ipswich at least have got a couple of outcomes, which is lose 5-0 or win, rather than lose 5-0 or lose 1-0, which is like Everton's outcome, Southampton. So if Ipswich can put a run together, then yeah, that might potentially drop Everton back into the shit. Right, okay, we've got a couple of cup games to get into. I found the first one really, really hard, the Arsenal-Newcastle game. I found it virtually impossible to make a pick. So we'll see what you fetched out for us, Baz, if you can help me out at all. We'll get into those after we talk about Underdog Pick'em, one of the biggest menus for all sports. Underdog is always making it easier to win with profit boosts and gimme pick'ems. Playoff best ball is live. The Gauntlet tournament is 2 million in prizes up for grabs. NFL, college, football, basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR. Use our code PLGP to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. And Rhythm, our proud partner. Rhythm, the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models. You can track your props in the Rhythm app. Rhythm's got it all there. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. So, EFL Cup Semi-Final first leg. The second leg's on until the 5th of February, that midweek. So we've got a good solid 4 weeks between games here. But Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, 3 p.m. Eastern time, Arsenal take on Newcastle United. Arsenal are 7-10, -142. The draw is 3-1, and Newcastle are 15-4, plus 375. That's the 90-minute betting on Tuesday. To qualify from the tie, Arsenal are 4-6, minus 150. Newcastle 5-4, plus 125. And like I say, Baz, I found this really, really hard.
Well, should I go first, Malcolm? Because I didn't.
Yes, yeah. Go on, give me a clue, Baz.
Well, yeah, because you messaged me this afternoon and said you'd really struggled with it, and I didn't. Now that doesn't mean I'm guaranteed winners, or I've got any absolute bankers that I would go wild on. But I just found picks that I like at fair prices, and it starts with where I started last week with Arsenal, and it's their record against top half sides this season.
Yeah,
it's absolutely terrible. Just 2 wins in 9 league games now against sides in the top 10, and it was the reason why I took Brighton, coupled with the fact Brighton are the draw specialists at the moment. Should have really just took the draw there because Brighton were never going to win it, but the draw always looked to be on the cards. I mean, they haven't lost many, but they did lose against Newcastle, so we've already got a win against them this season as well. Newcastle in good form. They've won 6 in a row, 4 clean sheets in those 6 as well, full of confidence. And again, like I say, none of this guarantees Newcastle a result here. And they don't necessarily need a result first of 2 legs. But I just thought the 15-4 price for Newcastle as underdogs was very big. And I felt I would rather take my chances on Newcastle getting something than Arsenal at, what were they, 7-10?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do exactly what I did. I've got 2 picks. I'm going to do exactly the same as I did with Brighton. I'll take them on the double chance. Newcastle plus money on the double chance. As I say, in good form, good results against half-decent teams recently. I think this will be a tight, cagey affair, and I think Newcastle have got a live chance in this for certain. 11-10 Newcastle on the double chance is what I like as my main pick. But I also like the under 2.5 goals. And it flies in the face of the Newcastle form recently, where there's been goals all over the place. But not against Arsenal's form, where they've went under 2.5 in 5 of the last 7 Arsenal games. Under 2.5, that's in the league. And the head-to-heads between the 2 sides, it's gone under 2.5 in 7 of the last 8 games. It's always tight. It's always cagey. And I think this will be the same, particularly because it's that first leg scenario where teams don't need to take a massive gamble. So I like the unders against plus money, under 2.5 goals at 6-5. So I'll take Newcastle on the double chance, 11-10, and I'll take the under 2.5 at 6-5. We'll have a 1-0 Newcastle or a 1-1.
Even though I did find it legitimately a struggle to make a pick here, I was also doing my usual thing of being shitey-arsed, nervous, twitchy, and trying not to mush everything as well. So none of that helped. The
Go
two things...
Go Team A v Team B again, Malcolm.
Yeah. But I'll tell you the issue I've got with Team B in a minute. The 2 things I wanted to point out at the top of these games were, I think you have to handicap these games as if everyone's going full strength. We know the Carabao Cup can be a bit iffy, but it's a cup semi-final now. But I would check the lineups before the game, 7 o'clock, check the team news. And I also looked at the look-ahead spots for the teams, because I do think this would have a little bearing. We've got the FA Cup at the weekend. So Arsenal play Manchester United. Arsenal have got a big game against Man United. And then there's midweek Premier League next week, and they've got Tottenham in the North London derby. So there's no easing off for them at all. Newcastle get Bromley at home on Sunday. So we'll throw out the reserves. It'll be a total change. There'll be 9 or 10 changes for Newcastle next Sunday, which means they can go full tilt a little bit. And then we've got home Wolves at home in the midweek. So that's a different kettle of fish. 2 home games, Bromley and Wolves, versus Man United and Tottenham, which is what Arsenal get. But I noted down that record against the top teams you mentioned, Baz. Of the current top 10, they've played 10 games or 11 games. 10 games against the current top 10. They've only won twice. They beat Forest at home. They beat Villa away on the first day of the season. So they haven't beaten Liverpool, Chelsea, Newcastle, Man City, Bournemouth, Fulham, and Brighton twice. I mean, you can't be backing them. You just can't be backing them. They're not top class. They're all right. They'll win more games than they lose, just about, or win more games than they don't win. they've only won 11 of their 20 league games. Like, it's not a good record. But Newcastle did ride their luck a little bit at Spurs, which is fair enough. No problem. You have to be. I'd rather be lucky than good. We did do enough in the first half to put that game away, though. But my main concern here is the same concern I had before that Tottenham game, and it's the Schär suspension. Because Botman did come in, which was a surprise. But can Botman go again? Like, he hasn't played for, I think that was his first game in 294 days. Can he go again 3 days later? Or will they have to stick Lloyd Kelly in or what have you? So again, I'd watch the lineups. And that was part of the reason I found it really hard to make a pick here. The pick I made is an absolute cop-out, Barry. It's a complete nutter, heads or tails. If it lands on my number, I'll claim a winner. But other than that, it's absolute bollocks. Everywhere I looked was too short. So I'm in the corners market, Baz. Newcastle average 5.85 corners away from home. Arsenal concede 3.1 on average. Pretty skinny margin. In the league game at St James's Park, Newcastle had 4 corners. Over 3.5 Newcastle corners is even money. It's really tentative, and I don't even mean it, but that's me pick. And if it wins, I'll make you clip it and put it on Twitter like I'm a genius. So over 3.5 Newcastle corners is a pick that me and no one else in the world will be picking.
3.5's nothing, is it? I mean, the corner ladders where we should have went with Newcastle
as well than we had been when we picked up those other numbers. We were in much better form.
Yeah, and I'd say the corner ladder should have been the pick for the Newcastle Spurs game. 19. It ended up on that one. I think Newcastle got 10 of them, Spurs 9, I believe. So yeah, tons of corners the other day. So I don't mind that at all. 3.5's an easy starting point for a team like Newcastle.
Even money, I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was the right side. Okay. 8 o'clock on Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, is Tottenham Hotspur taking on Liverpool. Tottenham are 7-2, plus 350. The draw is 16-5, plus 320. Liverpool are 4-6, minus 150. I was going to shout out a couple of the Newcastle bets there actually in the chat. Michael wants Isak at any time. In great form here. 12-5, plus 240. Alexander Isak. And Cree's joined us.
That Isak price is big, isn't it? 12-5 any time for Isak. I mean, he's just scoring 7 in a row. Big price.
Yeah, he's after the record, but Tottenham are bollocks. One league win in 9, which was against Southampton, so it doesn't count. Regardless of what happened at the weekend, if all had been fine and equal, they would have won. They didn't. They don't win. They're not winning. They can't beat anybody. And then you add in that they're all injured or got the shits. Their other win in this spell was against Manchester United in this competition, which A, means nothing, and B, that really tried to fuck it up. So I don't want anything to do with Tottenham, not at this price anyway. The fans have lost it. The manager's gone full potato. No chance I'm getting involved. Liverpool, obviously, I was waiting patiently just to watch them win 3-0 this afternoon. And then I wouldn't have had to put an awful lot too much more thought into it. But then Liverpool weren't particularly good. But they've built up enough credit in the bank for me to put one slightly stodgy performance into perspective. And would rather trust the backlog of all the good games and goals that they've scored, or that little stodgy one today. They scored 6 times at Tottenham a few weeks ago, didn't they? Newcastle scored twice there. Nothing has changed. If anything, it's got worse for Tottenham since Liverpool went there and scored 6 times. Liverpool team total is the opposite of my Arsenal-Newcastle pick that I don't care for, and I would advise no one to pick. This one's the beauty. Opposite end of the spectrum. This one offsets that other shit one. Fully confident in Liverpool to score over 2.5 goals. 6-5, plus 120. Newcastle had 2 in the back of the net after 20 minutes. Could have had loads. If Newcastle, I think 2 for Newcastle is worth 3 for Liverpool at the current exchange rate. 6-5, plus 120. Liverpool to score 3 or more, but
yeah, I mean, it all depends on whether Ange gets a level playing field, doesn't it? Because if all things are equal,
you can't. Yeah. Hard to
This
say.
is the thing. I mean, all things are equal. I'm assuming they win this one. I mean, we got to see this one a few weeks ago, 6-3 to Liverpool in the league at Spurs. Spurs haven't won a game since. They've only a home record. They've only won one of their last 8 at home in all competitions as well. So, like, it's really, really hard to fancy Spurs in any shape or form, even though Ange was very, very proud of them and thought they were outstanding yesterday. They're still, as you say, carrying tons of injuries. A few of those who were ill might come back in a bit better shape this week, possibly. But like first instinct goals, and then it's where do you go with it? The last 4 head-to-head between these two sides have seen 25 goals in total. We've had a 6-3, 4-2, 2-1, and a 4-3 in the last 4 games. Liverpool have won 4 of the last 5 head-to-heads as well. The problem with match goals is you're looking at 8 to 11 for over 3.5 here. Really, really, really short. I think like you hit the nail on the head. Had Liverpool gone and won 3-4-0 against Man United today, I'd have instantly taken the Liverpool team total again. And I felt like I couldn't because I took Liverpool over 2.5 today and it failed. But that doesn't mean I don't think it'll happen this week. I've put it down here. I've said it's the first time in 4 games today that they haven't hit 3. And 11 to 10. I've got 11 to 10. You said 6 to 5, even bigger. I think it is a great price. I just went somewhere else because I'd failed with the same bet today and didn't want to just be repetitive. So I've gone a bit different. Might end up shooting myself in the foot when you land a 3-0. Last 5 meetings, also 2 or more in the first half. 5 to 6 for over 1.5 first half goals. We saw it yesterday. There was 2 in the first 10 minutes. I think it's a decent shout, yeah. Over 1.5 first half goals. It's a game where I'm expecting plenty of goals anyway, and that's where I've ended up. But I also don't mind over 1.5 goals in both halves. It's about 9 to 5 for that. So over 1.5 in both halves. So my main pick I'll put out is 2 or more goals in the first half. But I do like the same to happen in the second half, and that to be at least 4 goals and at least 2 of them in each half. As I say, that's around 9 to 5. So that's where I've ended up. But as I say, had today have gone a little differently, I would have just fired straight into the Liverpool team total because I do love that bet as well.
Still scored twice. It's not like they blanked. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I know. It just felt like I feel like I'm rolling that pick out every week at the minute. And
well, Baz, it's fine. Like no such thing as a bad priced winner, Baz. Tom Crean, Iceman. Tom always comments on the YouTube. We normally have a little bit of back and forth during the week about this, that, and the other. Very rarely does Tom get to join the live. So welcome, Tom. It's lovely to have you. So also then on Thursday night, we'll probably do the show on Thursday, the pick show. But probably after these FA Cup games have gone off. So we thought we'd dip into the FA Cup on the grounds there was only 2 games to handicap. Or I say we, because I'm not sure if Barry's done any, because he messaged me earlier on and said, I'm not sure I can be asked to do the FA Cup. So Barry, the question is, were you asked to do the FA Cup?
Well, I looked. There's 3 fixtures, isn't there, Thursday?
Yeah.
And I looked at Everton 1 to 3, Fulham 1 to 3, and I thought I can't be bothered to even start trying to get into that. But the only thing I did think was Sheffield United looked a standout price at 5 to 6. They've had a little bit of a slump lately, but nowhere near as bad as Cardiff, who've won something like 1 of their last 12 games. I think 5 to 6 Sheffield United looked a decent price, so I would take that. But that's all I've got on in terms of FA Cup action.
Well, that's worked out actually, because that was the one game I put a line through. I just thought I'd be guessing because it's too hard. And it's team selection as well. If you know your championship, like Lee might be able to give you a little bit more of a steer, but I don't know if Sheffield United will rest players because obviously they're at the business end of the championship. So I put a line through that, and I did look at the other 2 games: the Everton Peterborough and Fulham Watford. Both of them are 7:45 on Thursday, which is 2:45 Eastern time. Everton 1 to 3. 9 to 2, the draw. Peterborough 15 to 2 plus 750. No Replays, Baz. They've all been scrapped, so people can go to China
for that, Malcolm.
Sorry,
that's all Klopp's fault. That.
Yeah, Klopp and Nottingham Forest. Yeah, so everyone can, instead of getting tired, they can all tour China and Australia for 3 weeks on the last day of the season. So to qualify, Everton are 1-7, -700, 9-2, +450 Peterborough. I mean, Everton, Sean Dyche, can't afford to not have a go at this. But the question is, are they even good enough for you to want to back them? Are they good enough to win? Are they good enough to rest a couple of players? If they got any other players to come in, I don't know what's going on there. They haven't scored in 8 of the last 10. I thought a decent comparison for this Peterborough game was the game against Man United. That was the closest I could find. And Man United beat Everton 4-0. So that really makes Peterborough. That joke was better before Man United played well this afternoon, Baz. I was really enjoying that gag this afternoon. But Man United fucked it by being incompetent. But Peterborough are just as bad as Everton, unfortunately. 1 win in 9. But they don't very often blank, Peterborough. Averaging 1.71 goals per game, 1.36 goals per game away from home. And their games average 3.63. So I think they can score, but they are unlikely to keep a clean sheet regardless. Both teams to score is a nice price. It's 4-5, -125. The Fulham-Watford game is priced up similarly. That tells you, by the way, how bad Everton are. Is that Watford, who are a half-decent Championship side, at the same price as a dog-shit League One side in Peterborough. Fulham 1-3, the draw 21-4, Watford 15-2. Fulham struggling to win. They've been playing well, doing all right. Late equaliser today. Michael's no comment in the Everton game. And Lee Smith likes the Peterborough team total. Yeah, so Fulham have drawn 6 of their last 8. The latest one being 2-2 today at home to Ipswich. They've drawn at home to Bournemouth recently. They've drawn at home to Southampton. So 1-3 is a little bit skinny. And I do think Fulham will make changes. Like, they haven't got an awful lot to play for. Marco Silva's done this in cup competitions before. Watford aren't in a great run of form either. They've lost 3 in a row. And all their good form is at home. They've won 9 of 13 at Vicarage Road. They've only won 2 of 12 away from home, and they've lost 8 of those. But 6 in a row, both teams to score in over 2.5 for Watford. It's they either play at home and win 2-1, or they go away from home and lose 2-1. So that's absolutely fine. I did look at the first goal scorer market. I had my eye on Beckett Godot, Baz. He's been nipped in this week. He's 15-4. I don't know what he's done. The money's come for him. 1/4 of a point he's been nipped in. Beckett Godot, but I couldn't pull the trigger on him because he doesn't exist. Both teams to score over 2.5 goals, Baz. It's 13-10 +130. That's a lovely price, Baz. Are you into any of those picks?
I prefer that one than Peterborough scoring a goal, just because Everton, they're capable of being tight at the back, aren't they? So I definitely prefer your second pick. I'm not ruling out either of them, but yeah, I'd be on the Fulham one.
I've nearly finished this now, Barry. It's starting to make my teeth hurt. I reckon if you had 4 of them, you'd be in absolute agony. Like, it's got to be 97% sugar. And my teeth are throbbing. Like, I can feel them curling up. I mean, I've got teeth like a witch doctor's necklace at the best of times. So I don't want to start drinking that stuff because I'd give them 18 months and I'd be absolutely toothless. Well, that's me done, Baz. Have you got anything else you want to tell the people before we let them come? Oh, Baz, we haven't played Battleships yet.
I was just about to say, Malcolm, we've got
to
fire some shots. Is it me to go first?
Sorry, everyone. I know you're all on tenterhooks. I sunk your Battleship on the last show, didn't I? That was good. Got myself right back in the game. Right, come on, your turn.
So, have I sunk yours? I hit your 4.
Yeah, you sunk that.
You sunk 4 or your 5 I got?
4.
Yeah, I need to make this clear, of which I'm looking at 2 boards here that I've got digitally remastered. and I have to remember which one's yours and which one's mine. Right, I'm going to go for H9.
Oh, bollocks. Yeah, that's a hit.
Yes.
Not a
G9.
miss.
Get you next time. Get you next time.
Barry's edge back in front. Right, hang on then. I have to get my board out now. Rivet and stop this. I'm going to go, Barry, with... Let's have a look at E8, please.
Hit.
Tell you what, absolutely, we're going toe to toe here, Baz. D8.
Miss.
Miss.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, absolutely equal Stevens after that little round, Baz. Well played.
Tune into the next show for more Rivet and Battleships action.
Tune in. I imagine you've all got it written down somewhere. Right, Barry, anything else before we clear off?
Yeah, just very quickly, keep putting your comments on Spotify. The bosses have picked up on them. They've noticed that we're getting some nice comments, so keep doing that.
How do you know that?
People are looking. You have to check the Slack message from them. But yeah, keep leaving your comments on Spotify. Even if you've done it in recent episodes, just keep doing it because it's good. It helps us. Same on YouTube. Keep leaving the thumbs up, comments. And if you haven't left us a 5-star review on Spotify, do that. And if you haven't left us a review when you're listening on Apple, make sure you do it. Leave us a few comments and a 5-star. It's been a while since we've had a nice one on Apple. So, yeah, keep doing all those good things and we'll keep putting this shit out.
Be like Tom Crean. Yeah, so good luck with your bets in the cup. Hopefully Newcastle can keep us in the game before the second leg at St James's Park next month. Probably Thursday night for FA Cup third round picks. That's always a bit of a maverick show. We'll have all sorts of mad stuff going on then. Thanks everyone. Enjoyed it a lot. I'm off to the garage to get 6 more Iron Brew vodka martinis. But until next time, we will see you all down the road. Cheers.